Welcome everyone to the group session 1 for the Selenium Live project. What we're going to do is we're going to go dig deeper into how we're going to be working together as a team in this current live project. All right. So I'm going to walk you through the details. It's going to be about a 15-20 minute session, and we will align ourselves to the next steps on what we're going to be doing in this project. All right. So primarily, there is this presentation that I had shown earlier to a lot of you, but I'm going to quickly run through it. The whole expectation is to give you that real life practical exposure to the entire role of automation. How you're going to be working in a real life project, specifically on automation and so on. Okay. Now, as part of what you do, you will see that there is a lot you will need to go back and continue to watch the videos, the tutorials on Selenium at ITeLearn.com. You're going to do a lot of documentation in terms of scripts and so on that you need to go back and review. You will need to work very significantly on practice and so on. And especially because not necessarily that everyone is working on this as a live environment, so you might have to do this even if you're watching the recordings of this session. All right, that is how you can put this exercise to the best use. All right. Now, apart from that, a few pointers as to your commitment, your participation, how you interact with every other member in the project shows significantly into your final output. So please make sure that you play well with the team, you interact well, and you are as supportive as it is needed for the project, and that is very essential for a smooth flow. Okay. Now, yes, I will be supported by two of my team members, Manoj and Sumisha, in coordinating the entire effort. There is going to be a lot of background work that needs to get done, but significantly what I need is definitely these three details. Okay. So your name, email, phone number, your location, and your timings. Timings is basically depending on your location of where you are, what are the suitable times for you to interact. It will then give us an opportunity to be able to break everyone down into teams and then be able to align everyone to be able to work together. So once I break all the participants into different teams, then I could create a scenario where each of you are working with each other as a team, as a group, and how you go about interacting. As a team, you will have a lot of things to do on your own. Different teams are going to be repeating the same task. I am not breaking one task. I am not breaking different tasks into different teams. It's going to be the same exact thing that each team is going to perform. So there is repetitive tasks that will happen in each team, and hence one team could be reviewing how the other team is going to perform and so on. Okay. But as part of it, we will also do coordination with the team leads, and I will be assigning the team leads depending on the number of teams that we get into it. So how we're going to work is very simple. We will start with a simple overview of the project. What is the project all about? How, what is expected out of you and so on. And then we will do weekly tasks. What is it that we're going to do this week? What is it we're going to do next week and so on. That way we will align ourselves to the entire goal. Okay. At the end, what is expected to happen is you will get very significant hands-on exposure. You will realize how you work in a team environment, how you communicate, how you interact with everyone in the team, how you go about handling challenges, issues that you face in a real life example. And this will be very important learning as part of your session. Okay. So now to begin with, what I've done is I've put some details into this simple sheet, very high level, but again, I wanted to dig deeper into each of them and align ourselves with it. So I'm going to give a project overview, how we're going to go about doing it, what is the end result of the entire application / project. All right. then as the end result that you just saw in fact on the slide for each of you as individuals. All right. So the application we're going to work and test is ITeLearn.com, and as each of you know, the website has been going through significant changes. It is very dynamic at the moment. There is a lot that is happening and will continue to happen constantly on this application. There is also a very high number of visitors or views that continue to happen to the application. So now this application is very critical in terms of its overall functionality, how it works and so on. So for example, if we look at the number of views, on an average there are about 4,000 odd plus views that happen a day on the website, which means that there are many visitors, there are many members who visit this application. This is used for multiple purposes. Now, hopefully I don't need to walk each of you through how this thing is going to work or what the functionality of the application is, but I will definitely do a detailed functional walkthrough of what is expected. But number one is the application ITeLearn.com. The scope or functionality of what is going to happen or what is to be tested is almost everything, okay? Everything unless mentioned as out of scope, okay? So every page, every module or category within the application needs to get tested, okay? Tested for various aspects, for functionality, workflow, broken links, images, if the videos are playing, and many other things similar to that, okay? So everything under this needs to get tested. There is also e-commerce. We will try and use some dummy data to see how the e-commerce page is working, how the entire shopping cart is functioning, and so on. You may have to run some demo, some dummy transactions and see if they get registered, if emails are getting generated, and so on, okay? So there is going to be a lot of work. It is not going to be easy. It is not that we sit down for 10 hours and this project is done. No. This is at least 500 to 1,000 person hours effort. So if there are about 5 people working together, it will take at least 1.5 to 2 months to complete this entire exercise, okay? There is a lot on production and test pages. When I say production, what it means is the pages that are public, that are currently being viewed or seen by the outside world. Then there are lots of pages that are not open to the outside world, which are still to be tested internally before we push them outside, okay? So one of the things that I'm going to do next week, and I put a task sheet here, is and I'm going to say what the task is: status, date, expected completion date, okay? So this is important for us to track, primarily because unless we know what is it that we need to go about doing it, it will become very tough for us, okay? So a detailed app walkthrough, okay? So this I will be conducting. This is a pending item, and this is going to be the next week. So this is going to be the 29th of May, okay? 5/29. This is when I'm going to give you a detailed application walkthrough of the functionality. But again, individual, okay, individual walkthrough. And here I'll say team members. So here each of you will need to do your own walkthrough of the application and come up with a list of questions, okay? Come up with list of questions. this you will work and try and get this completed by the 25th. Okay, so we could plan it accordingly. Now we need to break down the project into teams. Okay, so this will happen within our team before the 25th. Again, same date. I'll put it as 25th. Before 25th, we will break it up into the teams. So here I'm going to say ITeLearn. Okay. Let me put, as I remember tasks, I'm going to put it here. That way, there is we don't miss anything that we are supposed to be doing. All right. Now, meanwhile, if there are any suggestions, anything that is coming up, please interact with me on chat to begin with, because this needs to be interactive sessions. We will be working like a project team together. Okay, each of us will be playing a role of what we're going to be doing. So very important for you to ask questions timely and get them addressed. All right. You will need to show reports of status of what's happening daily, weekly, and also there will be automation reports that will come, okay, as we go along. What is the progress of what you're going to be doing and so on. Very important, please note these 2 points. There's going to be very less of me and more of you, in the sense that the amount I talk, the amount I do in this project and what you're going to be doing, there's a lot of difference. I'm going to introduce you to things. I'm going to guide you into the whole project, but I am assuming that you will pick it up as a team, 5-6 members coming together as one team, or it could be up to 10 people in one team, and then you have to work very well together to execute it. Okay, there will be no spoon feeding. You'll have to do a lot of research at your end to come up with it. Okay, and do note, not all solutions are on ITeLearn.com. In the sense, while ITeLearn, we have tried to put the tutorials for Selenium as much as we could, there could still be areas which you will encounter as part of this automation project that is not covered in one of our video tutorials. And what that means, you'll need to do a lot of research externally also to be able to come back and put that into use here. All right. Now, that is the overview of the project. As I told, again, repeating, the scope and functionality is the entire end-to-end everything on the application. Unless specified, you will be working on everything in the page. However, there may be a certain restrictions in terms of, for example, you may not have access to all the mobile testing videos, or you may not have access to the security testing videos or some other course videos and so on. But you will see how then the automation itself is going to change accordingly. Okay, but the scope, the documentation of what we're going to cover, that's going to come out very significantly. As I told you, we're going to break each of us into different teams. We will be interacting as a group every week at this time, every Wednesday, from 6:30 to about 7:15 p.m. Pacific time. But as a team, you will be interacting and speaking with your own team members daily, and a lot of times a day. Sometimes you're working parallelly as well. You are going to nominate leads or single point of contact for each team for each week. That way, if there's any communication that needs to get executed, that happens through that single point of contact, and you can send out an email or interact with me or the team lead accordingly. Okay. Now, one of the very critical things, you will start with an automation test plan. All right. So once the project teams, okay, this is basically creation of distribution. Okay, is done. Once the project teams are created, I'm going to put a start date and end date instead of this way. Okay, start end. I don't think I require more than this. So by default, some of these are starting right away. Some may start later. So for example, the app walkthrough, I will not start it till the date itself. So it's a one-time event. But individual app walkthrough, you can start it right away. You don't have to work on, wait on that activity. Now, as part of one of the key deliverables is automation test plan. Okay, you will need to create the automation test plan and try and come up with it before 5/29. Okay, you can start this activity from 5/26 and come up with the create draft version 1.0 by 5/29. Then we will review automation test plan. Okay. As a group, I will walk through. This is team members. This is Karthik. Pending 5/29. 5/29. So you will need to complete this by 5/28 in that case. All right. These are high-level tasks, team. These are at a very almost like a 10,000 feet level. Once you create a test plan, that will talk about all the details of what is going to be tested, how you're going to create things, what will be the schedule of it, who's going to be working on what, and so on. That will have a lot of in-depth details into it. Okay, so the exact information of that specific data will be in that automation test plan that you create. All right, so that is something that we can look forward for next week. So next week, primarily, if you look at, we have a detailed app walkthrough and the review of automation test plan that each of you will be doing. This is not a tough thing at all because I live in and out of the application every day. But this means that unless the step number 5 here is done, I cannot do a review. So, which means that breaking down into the teams, introducing you to each of them, all of these have to happen so that you can start working on it. In the meanwhile, you can start looking at templates of how automation test plan can be written, what it should contain, and so on, and then start documenting it. Okay, so you can start creating a document around it, a very formal document. It's not an informal or a casual document. It's going to be very detailed and a formal document. So please emphasize on everything, the format, the header, footer, all of those details in that plan. Okay, use your own creativity, get some templates, and then you can customize it. Now, as we go about, you will see that you will not create one framework that will take care of the entire website. You might have to create individual test scripts. You might have to create a lot of things, scheduled runs. You may have to create some, if you want to create some build environments and all that. All of these things you could put it as part of the automation test plan. Okay, then you could do the walkthrough of what it is that you're going to be working on them. You will also be creating frameworks. It is not going to be individual test scripts only. So the entire automation test suite at the end will be a combination of test scripts and one or more frameworks. When I say one or more frameworks, what do I mean? There could be a few of them which is only data-driven framework. Okay, then there could be some more which you do it a little bit more aggressively as a keyword, or you could also be doing a kind of a combination hybrid framework on this. Okay, so it is up to you how you want to go about looking at it. As you work in teams, you're going to see outputs coming differently. The end result should be the same. So what do I expect at the end of this project once you have put in the effort? That is number one, end-to-end tested application. So the application itself has completely been tested using our automation. If there are areas that need to be tested manually, we've also mentioned what it is. All the pages, all the posts are crawled in the sense that the automation test run walks through everything on the application. It identifies every link that is there, how it is going to be working, and so on. Okay. Then we have the regression automation test suite. Basically, what will happen is your test scripts, your frameworks, all of them will be created. So we will have a collection of this at any given time. We could just hit a few or schedule test runs, and then we should be able to go back and test it. What it means is, a couple of months down the line or a month down the line, the application goes through new changes. So I should be able to maintain those scripts or the frameworks, make quick changes to it, and be able to rerun them. So it needs to be reusable, and so that I can use it for regression. All right. Yes, there will be a continuous investment into manual testing as well. That will be needed. But again, whatever the intent is to maximize the amount of automation, make it efficient, reusable, and accurate, so that to be able to test the application end to end, it will cut down the cycle time significantly. It will increase the accuracy, and I could be able to reuse them. All right. Now let me take a few quick questions, and then I will come back to you. All right. So let's see what I have right now here. If you have some vacation plans, yes, it will affect the participation in the project. So please, if there are long weekends that are common for everyone, we will accommodate it accordingly. We will plan things around it. But if there are longer vacations, because you need to interact at a daily level, your participation will become a problem. Okay, so please make sure that you communicate this early, upfront to the teams, because it's a very important amount of participation that is needed. Okay, how we will show this experience in our resume. So as part of what will happen through this entire exercise, you will create a detailed overview of what you've done in the project, how you've involved, and so on, and put that as part of your resume. You can give the references of project that you've involved in this, and show it as part of some a project that you've worked on. Okay. Would you be sharing the project documents like the BRD, SRD, test plan, etc., or do we have to start from scratch? So yes, you have to start absolutely from scratch, but I don't expect you to create any functional documentation, business documentations, and so on. You will start directly with your automation test plan. Okay, that is where you will start with. The application is accessible to you. It is right in front of you, so you can start with that. Let's see. Do we need to write test cases as well? Yes, absolutely. You will have to write the test cases, what you need to automate, how, and so on. All those details should be mentioned there. Is there any version control for the project? So you put that as part of your test plan. Can we mention this as internship experience? Yes. So when you mention it in your resume, you're going to say that you have been a project intern member in this. What are we supposed to do if a team member commits for a task and does not deliver? Do we kick him out of the team? So it is something that happens often, where let's say there are about 5 people in the team. 3 people are working well, 1 or 2 members may not be working at the same speed, or 1 member may have left the team for a personal time off, or has moved into a different project, and so on. It is a practical challenge that happens. So then that task has to be rolled over into the other team members. So that task has to be broken down into the other team members. Will that person come back into the same team later or not? Depends on how the communication happened, why did the person leave, and so on. For example, if one of the person says, hey, you know what, in this specific week I will not be available because of certain prior engagements, then you could plan your execution accordingly. If it is something that was not foreseen, then that's a different thing. You could adjust it. But if someone basically stops to work on it, then you have to come back to me. We will discuss on it. Okay. But please note, the amount of seriousness for this exercise is very critical. All right. There are about 45-50 members overall who are going to participate in this project live. So there is going to be there are going to be a lot of members, and it's a very competitive zone. Each team will be competing with others in terms of what has been accomplished and so on. It's going to be healthy competition. It's going to be a very positive output out of it. This will basically put you in the zone of learning better and doing better for the competition. The test data. So test data will be provided. It is at the back end of the application. So as the test data is required, you will not have access to the database. You will not have access to the backend, but you will be provided with the data as needed. Okay. So there is no formal certification at the end, but there is a project completion. You could ask for reference. You could ask for an email or a document which says that you've completed the project. How we can share same document among team? So for example, earlier members have used tools like Dropbox or Google Docs and so on. There are multiple ways of how as a team you could interact with each other. You could also create a project in the Google code where you could start putting everything there, also create versions and so on. Are we going to divide the area of work? So once you decide once the team is communicated, you will then see, for example, you need to create automation test plan. That's the first step. So to create automation test plan, that document could have 10 different areas. One area could be scope. Second area could be in terms of project schedule. Third could be the tools and the frameworks and scripts, what or how you're going to use. So each of those things can be broken down into each member and presented to you. Okay. Let's see what else is there. Will you create test environment? Again, please focus when I'm mentioning it to you. Do not look at it very clearly, please. I've already mentioned there is going to be production pages. There's also going to be test pages. There is not going to be a separate test only pages. It's going to be a combination of both that you will create. Because when we do the actual testing, we will also do the testing on the production application. If there's any issue, then we will make changes directly on production. For the defects, there will also be test pages. So before I move it into production, we will have the ability to test them too. In case if we miss any day, are we going to get any record? Number one, these group sessions are going to be recorded. Okay. Number two, you will be interacting on a daily basis within your team. If you are missing out, then your team, as was asked earlier, might decide to throw you out of the team itself. So please do not try and miss out on your team meetings. Okay. If you have decided to interact with each other over Skype, over GoToMeeting or something on a daily basis, then you should continue to do it. Okay. Looks like as part of this process, we need Selenium and other components installed on the machine, so we get a detailed installation instruction doc so that it can help us to be more productive. Number one, Sunil, everything, a lot of this information is already there as part of your Selenium videos and tutorials. Okay. Second, as I told you, not all solutions are on ITeLearn, so you will need to do a lot of research, okay, and come up with it. You will not be, I will not do spoon feeding for you. So you do the hard work, you get things done. That is how projects will get executed. That is what you're supposed to be doing. There is no database testing. There will be security testing. To what level, I have not yet decided. But yes, for example, can the membership area be broken into? Will that have an issue when videos are playing on different zones and so on? Those details, yes, we will need to be able to test. Do we need to run automated tests on IE and so on? Yes. So different browsers and so on, you will need to do it. It is going to be a cross browser. It is not going to be just on one browser. Okay. So cross browser platform. So when it's a platform, it's not going to be only on the web. We will also do it a little bit on mobile devices. Okay, let me see. Any other thing? How many frameworks approximately? I don't know. It depends. I am assuming that there may be about 10 different individual test scripts. So a test script could be as simple as, which is like a bad link crawler or a 404 page error crawler, or simple scripts which will crawl through the entire website, get all the links and so on. There could be one data-driven framework that you put on about 5-6 different test scenarios. You may have one or two keyword-driven frameworks overall created accordingly. But again, a very high-level assumption, the actual details or how many are needed will be more realistic once you get into doing it. Is this the first time you are implementing real-time test project concept? So for ITeLearn on the application, this is the first time that this is happening. Okay, but overall in terms of projects and so on, no. But this is the first time that it is happening for ITeLearn as an application. How do you check in, check out? So again, if you go back and look at the video tutorials, there has been a detailed description on how you do the version control using Selenium, SVN, and Maven. You could go back and look at those tutorials and come up with your own ideas on it. Each and every module that we are going to test on this application has deadlines. Yeah, so the test plan, the schedule of testing needs to get developed. You will need to work on it with your team member. Do we need to use WebDriver or RC? So you decide which one, you tell me why, and put that as part of your automation test plan. That's what the test plan is all about, Srihari. All right, Cynthia, that is the answer to your question as well. Sunil Sama. So the real challenge I'm facing is regarding the installation instruction that is no longer valid. So why haven't you put that in the technical forum? That's a different question. This is not a training. We are not going to be bounded that this is not available, that is not available, that is why I cannot do. So no excuses, no poor dropouts, please. Don't let things put you down. Don't put your team down because of these things, Sunil. Okay, so go about, point to it, fix it. If you think that is no longer valid, create a valid one, create a new one, and share it with others as well. All right. Applications change, tools change, documentations also change every time. You have to go beyond it. How do I know which team? So the team distribution, go back to the task sheet that I've created. If you look at it, ITeLearn team will create and distribute the project teams. They will be able to do it by the 25th. Okay, from 25th onwards, you will be able to interact with your own team members, and then you could decide how you want to communicate. How do we record the bugs if found? So Cynthia, again, reporting is a section of your automation test plan. You put your assumptions there, work with your team, and see how you want to report defects. Let's see. I think overall, most of the questions have been answered. There will continue to be more and more questions. What I'm going to do is, depending on how things go, I might create an additional forum page for the Selenium Live project itself. So any questions that come up, we could use that forum to post questions there. Okay. So at the moment, please note that this is the most important thing, that you will do your individual walkthroughs. You will start working on a draft version right away. In fact, you don't even have to wait for the teams to be distributed. The teams will get distributed and communicated to you by the 25th. And then you can work with your team members and make sure that by 28th, before next meeting on 29th, you submit the draft version 1.0. Then we will go about reviewing it and we will decide on the next steps from there. All right. Right, awesome. Thanks everyone. Thank you for joining. We will see you back on the next week, next Wednesday, but a lot of things to do from between now and then. Any questions that you have in between, please make sure that you send the email to learn@itelearn.com, but make sure that you put SLP in subject like this, like I've highlighted in the screen. The reason is there are hundreds of emails that come to that email address every day. Unless there is a clear demarcation, it will be tough for us to identify. All right. All right. Thanks, everyone. Any other questions? Please put it up in here. We will take it from there. All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye now.